stuck between a libertarian and a Republican? Welcome to Publitarian Podcast.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. This is Ronald Johnson, Publitarian, coming at you again with another episode of Publitarian Podcast. I don't even know what episode we're up to now. 86? 87? I take really good notes for a podcaster, don't I? Mr. Announcer Guy, you're sounding a little rough. You're sounding a little bit more like metal than normal. What happened?
I guess my throat's a little sore, but there is one thing that I can tell you. It is not Corona.
Perfect. All right, great. Now we're going to get, pulled. You can't mention, unless you're talking about the beer. We're just going to assume that you're talking about the beer. Speaking of beer, the Publitarian drink of the podcast is, what is this? It's a Tom Collins. Yeah, I know, I'm an 80-year-old man. That's how I mix drinks. And we have a lot to parse since I last talked. One of the bigger episodes I did was Big Trouble in Commie China, which was a couple episodes ago. And then we just find out, according to the New York Post, this big explosive bombshell that Hunter Biden is involved with China, and also the big guy, quote unquote, which we are speculating at this point that it is Joe Biden. So that's the big news. The news, if you haven't heard it, is kind of encapsulated in another news story. And that's that Twitter and social media, especially Twitter, though, is suppressing this story. And it's right before an election. It sounds like election interference. It sounds like something that the Trump campaign got investigated for ad nauseum, but it's something that our tech oligarchs can get away with. So that's the big news that's happening right now. But first, to go with the main story from the New York Post. Revealed, Ukrainian exec thanked Hunter Biden for, quote, opportunity to meet, end quote, Veep Dad, Biden's secret emails. So that's from the New York Post. Says smoking gun email reveals how Hunter Biden introduced Ukrainian businessman to VP Dad. Hunter Biden introduced his father, then President Joe Biden, to a top executive at a Ukrainian energy firm less than a year before the elder Biden pressured government officials in Ukraine into firing a prosecutor who was investigating the company, according to emails obtained by the Post. Okay, so this is all about the Hunter Biden and Burisma stuff. So we have Ukrainian collusion here, but there's no quid pro quo. There's nothing going on here. Nothing unseemly, according to Twitter. So let's see. The way this was obtained, it says the computer was dropped off at a repair shop in Biden's home state of Delaware in April 2019, according to the store's owner. Other material extracted from the computer includes a raunchy 12-minute video that appears to show Hunter, who's admitted struggling with addiction problems, smoking crack while engaged in a sex act with an unidentified woman, as well as numerous other sexually explicit images. Now, some of these images have already been leaked in social media, and the memes are abounding, and why not? So MSNBC and the willing accomplices and the rest of the media, Twitter included, have already tried to get out in front of this thing and say, oh, this is laughable. They're actually, laughing on air about it, going, oh, this was some dumb October surprise, and there's no way we can validate the credibility of these. It's funny, the people that are so worried about credibility and validity of things investigated the president and his campaign on a 100% fabricated Russian collusion charge. So the reason I think these are credible, other journalists have seen the actual hard drive. Chanel Rion at OAN specifically has seen it, and she's seen some other stuff that has not been revealed to the public yet. But how would these pictures surface? If this wasn't Hunter Biden's laptop and these emails weren't real, how the hell would all these personal private pictures and videos of him on this hard drive emerge if it's not his hard drive? So anyway, there are receipts to follow. We already know about the shady business deals with Ukraine. The reason we know about it is because Joe Biden is bragging about firing the prosecutor that was looking into this corruption. The numbnuts is actually bragging about this on video. So, I mean, there's your validity right there, people. But most people are going to keep their head in the sand about this. But again, the big story is how it's being censored. If this is just laughable, then why aren't we all talking about it? We should just get it out in the open. It's been not only squashed on Twitter and Facebook. If you try and share it, you could get your account locked out or suspended, including Kayleigh McEnany. That's right, Kayleigh McEnany, the White House press secretary, locked out of Twitter for sharing posts about the Hunter Biden story. I mean, this is 1984 stuff that we're seeing here. We've got a tech company that's literally interfering in a presidential election and also deeming what they think is news and not news, acting as a publisher. And Trump has threatened to take away their Section 230 privileges, which basically means they're an open platform and they can't act as a publisher. That way they can't be liable for lawsuits. And everybody's landing on different places as far as that goes. But one thing, especially you libertarians can miss me with, is that whole private company argument. Well, they're a private company. They could do whatever they want. Yeah, oh my gosh. Y'all just miss me with that, okay? If you're still on the private company train and don't know how the public square works, that would be like a private company coming in back in the 1800s, 1900s, buying up all the roads. And when you go out to speak your piece on the road, they go like, nope, this is a private road. You can't come out here. Well, I got to use the road. Sorry, not our problem. This is our road. That's how dumb you sound. That's how dumb you sound when you make that argument. Oh, they're a private company. The internet is public. This is a public square. This is where we voice our opinions. This is what's become of the internet. This is what social media is. So here's another little crack in the armor as well. And the other thing that people aren't talking about. Let's say that the president goes forward with this and Congress does something and government steps in and they go, okay, yep, you are publishers now. Well, guess what? All these big tech oligarchs have the funds and capacity and manpower to fight all of these. Never forget, this is how YouTube became powerful. Viacom sued them back in their earlier days for all of this copyright infringement they were doing, and they literally just took the settlement or the payoff. They sued them for, I think it was like $7 billion or something like that, and YouTube literally just paid the billions of dollars and said, okay, yeah, now what? There's your $7 billion, and then just continued to do what they do. So these bigger social media companies are going to fight this. So I think they secretly want the Section 230 stuff. That way they can just keep fighting this, and then all the smaller social media companies that don't have the resources to fight this will be beholden. So that's my little conspiracy theory. So as much as I hate government intervention, I think we need to have a Microsoft antitrust thing like that happened in the, early 2000s. Where the companies get broken up because they are monopolizing the public square and censoring not only Kayleigh McEnany but also I think it was the House Republicans, their .gov account for sharing this Joe Biden story. They got their account suspended as well. I've lost like 200 followers on Instagram within like a week. That's unheard of. Ruby Red Pill has had her account suspended. A lot of our like conservative brothers and sisters to get the news out there and get the memes out there have had their accounts either squashed or shadow banned or outright suspended or taken away. So this is what we're living in. This is the 1984 that we're living in. And I don't think I'm being hyperbolic about that because these entities aren't going to get smaller. They're just going to get bigger. So as much as I hate government intervention, I think that is going to be the solution in this case. No reason to do anything widespread. And for those making the argument of, well, we can't fight back like this, they're just going to censor us. They're already censoring us. We're already being censored. The stuff that you're scared of them doing, they're already doing. Anyway, back to the Hunter Biden, Ukraine, China scandal. Let's just say for the sake of argument that this is 100% false, and that it's just fabricated, and it was something that a bunch of crackpots cooked up. Twitter still cannot do election interference. They still can't be squashing the story like this. So either way, something has to be done about this. But like I said, the allegations are credible, and there was obviously pictures of him on the laptop. And I don't know how these pictures would have surfaced unless it was actually his laptop. You'll see them, like I said. They're already on the internet for human consumption, for better or for worse. So that's going on. And then another thing that's happening that I wanted to talk about, this is also this is a New York Post heavy story, or heavy podcast day. From the New York Post, Nancy Pelosi says Democrats are looking at 25th Amendment to remove Trump. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi on Thursday threatened that Democrats are looking at using a provision of the 25th Amendment to effectively remove President Trump from office. And the story goes on and on about this. And a lot of people are coming to Trump's aid, which is good, but I think a lot of people are missing the forest for the trees. This is a Trump card for her, no pun intended. I don't think it's meant for Trump. I think it's meant for Joe Biden. I think she's getting these powers in place so that way, when it is finally revealed that Biden is severely cognitively damaged, they can make the transition to malleable Kamala Harris easier. They'll make that transition easier. So if it is to take out the Donald, then she wins there. If it is to take out Biden, then she wins there too. In other words, this is a Trump card. She's just trying to put up her sleeve and have the House pass this stuff while the House still retains power. Let's hope they don't have power anymore, or then the Democrats get taken back down to a minority in 2020, which then takes us to the 2020 election. And I will keep harping on this for everyone out there. Go vote. Vote, 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 take family, take friends, as long as you know they're going to vote down ballot R. I'm not even disguising the allegiance anymore. This, I think, is one of the most important elections of our lifetime, and I think it will decide the trajectory of the country. And I don't mean to be dire about it, but you guys really need to be out there voting, talking to people, red-pilling people in these last moments in these last weeks. The Democrats have also been talking about a coup that is coming that they're going to do if Trump does take power. More yelling and screaming and fighting in the streets. I recommend listening to the Dan Bongino podcast. He did an interview with Michael Anton, the guy that wrote this piece about the coming coup. It was very eye-opening, scary and eye-opening. If you have any questions about what they're going to do after the election, that guy answers it. Again, I'm taking you guys to another person's podcast, but he's done a lot of good work on there, and I would say check him out for that. That was all I wanted to get out. I wanted to get out the Hunter Biden stories. Oh yeah, ACB, that's happening. Amy Coney Barrett will get confirmed. Democrats are just trying to put on a show for their constituents right now and ask her. I would play clips, but it's just stupid. They're just asking her the most ridiculous questions. What I think was impressive is when she was asked what notes she was using, and it's going to be an iconic picture and also meme-worthy. She holds up a blank notepad, so they're just peppering her with all these technical got you questions, legalese questions, and she just knocks them all out of the park while having zero notes in front of her. And I thought that was super impressive. So anyway, I think that will do it for me on this edition of Publitarian Podcast. If you want to reach out to me, you can. I'm publitarian@gmail.com or thepublitarian@gmail.com. I am on Rumble now. I'm on Parler. I'm on all the alternative social media platforms. You pick one, and I'm on there. Like I said, I know Parler and places like that can be like a Republican conservative echo chamber, but at the same time, I think it's important to have a presence on these platforms in case we just need to communicate. Because obviously, the big tech oligarchs are going to continue to keep us squashed until we do something about that. So anyway, hang in there, guys. I hope it's not going to be a rough couple of weeks, but the Democrats, and even if Trump wins in a landslide, they're just going to keep doing their same antics. So just keep the faith, stay strong, and vaya con Dios. Anyways, I'll see you guys on the next podcast. Take it easy.
You've been listening to Bubbletarian Podcast. Copyright 2020.